You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Feeling good about your fantasy draft picks, but not sure what to eat? Make it easy on yourself. Order in on DoorDash. Now you can root for your squad while your food and drinks are on the way. Yes, that means burgers, chips, dips, soda, pizza, wings, and so much more, delivered straight to your door.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I am apologizing to the audience right off the bat, Stugotz, because this is one of the longest weekends of my life I am coming out of.
Right.
And I will tell you about it one day in the book, if I live long enough and am brave enough to ever write the book about all the stuff that happened to me this weekend. But I'm tired. I have not slept in 72 hours.
Just a book on this past weekend?
It could be.
Really?
It could be.
An entire book
I believe,
on a weekend?
Yes. I believe I could write an entire – I believe that my greatest fear professionally, the writing of a book, I believe can absolutely spring from just the things that happened to me this weekend. And I say this as modestly as you can, it would be a bestseller.
Really?
Like it would immediately become a bestseller. Yes.
Yeah, the Chiefs, huh?
No, Chris Cody did, and I'll get to that in a second because, good God, he came in here hot today in a way that one can only be if they bet on the wrong side of that game. So we will get to his thoughts on that in a second. But before we do, that Sunday of football was, save for 3 games, an unending stream of shit and horrible quarterback play because the Vikings are on their 4th one, and the Vikings are going to make the playoffs on their 4th quarterback. The sport cannot keep their quarterbacks healthy. Hear all about it on God Bless Football, which Billy has now returned to put out with Stugotz. Chris, how much did you miss Billy that you had to do God Bless Football while Billy was away?
Honestly, with what happened with Mahomes and the Chiefs, I was fired up this morning. I wanted to be part of it. I missed it.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to see.
He was kind of like, he was lingering in the control room.
I was like, oh, maybe they'll ask me to come in if I just walk through, do a quick lap, say hello to everybody. They did not ask, but I got takes.
Billy, did you miss the doing of God Bless?
No, get out of here.
Don't even stop.
Now you've gone too far. Yeah. I mean,
okay, well, welcome back, Billy. It's nice to have you back. Jessica's here, and there's someone back there wearing a lampshade. Jessica, can you tell me at all? That's a punishment, the lampshade punishment? That person I heard mutter, but I could not tell their voice because I cannot talk to that person, and I don't think they're mic'd up. That person said, this is a lot harder than I thought it was. That person is editing, and I cannot see his or her face.
That person's wearing Cole Haan shoes, if that answers your
Whittingham?
question. Close.
Okay, it's not Whittingham. What is the punishment? It's just a lampshade on your head?
He loves lamp, Dan, I rule with an iron fist. I come back and we're paying off punishments immediately.
All right, that's good, Billy.
Yep.
Thank you for doing that.
Saw you were the pirate last week?
Yes.
I don't remember that being a punishment, but...
That was just for fun.
Yeah.
That's a freebie I gave you. Just a little freebie. Because I like that stuff, and I was feeling good after the wife sent me in wearing it.
in the book, or, I mean...
Not this weekend.
Okay.
I did not put on the pirate outfit for the weekend. However, even though... Because football cannot keep its competent quarterbacks healthy, sorry, C.J. Stroud, enjoy the concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Because the sport is totally insane, but because it also has the great, great gifts, Stugotz, of you don't even need Dallas and Philadelphia as the nighttime game to be close. The only 2 games you got yesterday, Stugotz, were the Ravens and the Ravens over here and the Browns over there, and everything else stunk except for a star quarterback in that league is more enraged than you've ever seen him. Travis Kelce's play, Taylor Swift's boyfriend, makes a play that would have been an all-timer for eternity.
Yep.
And it's turned over by the stupidity of the correct rule. Clearly offside, clearly needs to be a penalty, clearly should have been overturned. Chris Cody comes in here totally insane, and Patrick Mahomes, after the game, he's as angry as you have ever seen him.
Oh, I mean, the thing is, I'd rather let us play, man. Like, let us play the game. And then whatever happens, happens. Like, the whole throwing the flag and deciding the game one or another. That's what hurts me. That's why, like last week, I didn't say anything because it's letting us play, man. Let us go out there and win the game. And I said I'd rather them let us play and go out there and see who wins. I mean, that's what you want as a competitor. Is you practice all week to go out there and try to win, and you want it to be about your team and that team and see what happens. You never want it to be. You don't want to be talking about this stuff after the game. And that's it, man. I'm not worried about if there was a flag on the next player or whatever, like not a flag. I want to go out there and play and then see what happens at the end, see what the score is, and then I can live with the results.
Patrick, we know you follow a lot of football. Do you feel like this is isolated frustration to you, or do you feel like it might be a league-wide problem as far as this entire?
The flag today was tough. Offensive offsides. It's something that, you as a like I said, elementary school, we talk about, you line up, you point to the ref, you're good, you're not good. If not, they come to you, we talk, you need to get off the ball more, you need to be on the ball more. You have a discussion. That's the ref's job. You want to have an open discussion so that you can go out there and put the best product you can on the field. And for him to throw that flag, no explanation, no anything. And I saw the picture, and he probably is, barely offsides, but for him to take the game into his hands over a call like that doesn't affect the play at all. Didn't affect anything. It's just tough, man. And like I said, man, that's a Hall of Fame tight end making a Hall of Fame play that won't be shown because we threw a flag for an offensive offsides. And so it takes away from not only this game and this season, but from a legendary career that Travis has had. And that hurts me because I know how hard he works for it.
He is so very obviously right, and he is so very obviously wrong. Because, Stugotz, that's not him angry. Angry was him after the game, restrained by teammates, and this is what I'm telling you is happening there, and it ain't that there was a call, and it ain't that it was a referee's fault. What's happening there is, hey, Patrick Mahomes, look what it looks like now for every quarterback in the league. It's really hard to play that game if everything doesn't go exactly right. Referees do kind of an amazing job spotting the ball correctly, which none of us would do correctly. We could spot the ball correctly. Your teammate cost you that game because of an elementary school mistake, and you're frustrated because it's really hard for you to get to 17 points now. And that's all projection. Everything that just happened there, you just saw the real Patrick Mahomes, who's had his life made easy in football for a really long time.
And he's worried about Travis Kelce's career, and he wants the referees to ref a game in accordance to what they think is best for Travis Kelce's career. What a joke. Dan, he has lived a charmed NFL life. And the second thing stopped going his way. He's never had to play a playoff game on the road. He's likely, if they make the playoffs, going to have to do that this year.
And he knows his team's not good enough, and he knows his receivers are not good enough. Stugotz, those receivers are terrible.
Yes, they are.
They are awful.
Right. But he won a Super Bowl with pretty much the same receiver core as he has.
There are so many more drops right now, Stugotz.
I know.
So many shitty plays.
But, Dan, here's the deal. Even with the call, and I understand, great play. We'll never talk about it. The best play in the history of sports that didn't happen. Okay? I get all of it.
Is it?
Well, I think it is,
It's
right?
the one from yesterday, yes.
Certainly the one from the weekend.
Certainly the one from yesterday.
Yes.
The 4 o'clock window.
I don't even know that we're not going to watch a highlight of that again. Don't we watch the highlight of him going parallel to the ground, throwing that ball? And wasn't that an incompletion? And we still see that play all the time from him.
It wasn't an incompletion. Was it an incompletion? Was the play that...
I don't think that play counted.
Well, it didn't count, but it wasn't an incompletion.
Well, if it didn't count, it's not a completion.
I love this. Best plays that didn't count.
Well, there was also, who was the Dolphins player that went upside down, the fat lineman that went and he put the ball over the end zone, and that's even his profile pic, and that play didn't count either.
Yeah, I think the best play that never happened was the intercepted spike attempt.
Ooh.
That was great.
That was from last weekend, the best play from last weekend.
But, Dan, they had 2nd and 15. They're the best at 2nd and long, 3rd and long, 4th and long.
Used to be. They're not anymore.
He's complaining they still had plenty of 3 opportunities to get the first down and go on and win that football game, and he didn't get it done. So you don't blame the referees for making the right call after the game.
I'd like to talk for a second about Stugotz, just how dreadful football was yesterday, but they gave us this one thing. We can argue, think about what you're watching on Sundays, that none of these teams can keep their quarterbacks healthy, even though you can't hit them in the head and you can't hit them low and you can't land on them and you can't do anything to them. None of them can stay healthy. And the one that we've conceded is the best in the league, suddenly people are talking about maybe he's not. And the reason they're doing it is because they lose a close game like that on a technicality. And he gets the media content game, Stugotz. I woke up this morning, I fell asleep for 10 minutes last night in the piece that I had of 72 hours.
Wow.
And I missed everything that was happening in Cowboys and Eagles. And when I got up this morning to find out, I had a hard time finding it because it was Mahomes, Chiefs everywhere. Like had a hard time getting through it because the story of the day was quarterback icon, commercial spokesman, Super Bowl champion. Oh, he's whining like a loser. Patrick Mahomes feels like a loser, is acting like a loser, and he's hiding behind Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
Well, I don't co-sign any of that, but Billy was right. It was an incomplete pass in the Super Bowl, the sideways throw that is one of the most famous pictures of Patrick Mahomes throwing a football. It was a great throw. No one caught it.
Almost intercepted, too. Could have been a horrible decision.
I can't believe
funny if it was.
How many of those did Josh Allen have yesterday, by the way? Horrible decisions where he's fluttering the ball up totally recklessly.
I don't understand how it's not consensus that the Chiefs got screwed. The last 2 weeks, there's a no call on a clear pass interference call. That's no call. We're going to let him play. We're going to let the players decide it.
Right.
The next week, all right, if I'm going to admit that he was offsides, it's by a toe.
Right.
Or inches.
By a toe? His back foot was where the other receiver's front foot was. He was a full person ahead of where he was supposed to be.
If you look at where the ball is, you're judging it off this blue line. That is not a real line.
What? Chris, it's a real line. There's a lineman standing there saying, don't go over this line.
You know the blue line is not going across the field.
Yeah, it does.
We understand that.
I'm telling you that it is inches we're talking here.
Right.
And then that's a no call. So that's the call. We're calling that. It's a ticky-tack call to decide your game, and then a no call on a clear pass interference call.
It's the right call.
How much money did you have on this that you're so upset
Well, hold on.
about
Before you answer that, because you realize these losses help the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm rooting. As a Dolphins fan, I wanted the Chiefs
Be careful
to
there.
lose.
Be careful there. Helps the
You're a
Dolphins.
Chargers fan.
You do not want to see these Bills. You're going to have to beat them late in December, and you're going to have to beat them again if you beat them in December. Like, I'm not sure you want to see that team.
Everyone here is in agreement. We want that call. We want that flag called right there.
The flag was thrown before the result of the play. So, like, what happened after was irrelevant. It's not like they took the play away. Like, they had already made the decision that was going to happen.
We need an eye in, like, why is it that ESPN and these networks can get a referee who's watching from the sky and telling us the right call? Why is there not a guy talking to the referee in his ear? Why is there not a referee in the sky that's like, hey,
how
we
would
screwed
that
this
help
one up?
in this situation? This is what Carl Sheffer said after the game, and this was from the NFL Pool Report. It's one of those things we don't want to be overly technical on, but when it's in his alignment, he's lined up over the ball. That's something we are going to call as an offensive offside. So that's what the down judge saw. He saw that the alignment was over the ball, and that's what he ruled on the field. That's what he called.
Yeah.
The blue line.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not real?
I think he's super emotional right now, and he's lashing out when he's the one that's actually using the blue line out of everybody. I get it. It stinks, but it was the right call, and it was objectively hilarious that it was Kadarius Toney that did it when he was the one high-stepping into the end zone.
So
Can we just for a second relish in our one and only Fast Twitch Energy Drink Player of the Week, Kadarius Toney, having 2 of these during an NFL season? Come on, guys.
Yeah.
We can't. I understand the emotion, and I know what's happening there is misplaced anger. It should be all directed at Kadarius Toney.
Billy, can you please get me real quick the stat line for Kadarius Toney when he was our sponsored Fast Twitch Player of the Week?
Had a game.
Keep in mind, a lot of what he did in that game won't show up in the box score.
No, but he had one of them was a drop that's not in the box score that was returned for a pick 6. So that will not be in there, but it's among the plays from that game.
Leon Lett better watch out. Chasing him like Don Beebe is Kadarius Toney. Hey, it's Mike, and I want to motivate you to make Miller Lite a part of your football watching experience. Here's the pitch. It's got only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. With a smooth taste and a crisp, clean finish, you get the taste that you crave without the calories. And, football fans, I can assure you, from personal experience, there is no other light beer, not on this wonderful planet of ours, that goes with football quite like Miller Lite. Make football time Miller time. No matter what team you're rooting for, there is one thing we can all agree on. Miller Lite and football bring us all together. So, I want you to take my advice and make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Dan Le Batard.
Sports!
Stugotz.
More sports!
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Chris Cody, I'm worried about you, okay? I've never seen or heard you so fired up as you were about this one thing and everyone that's arguing about this one thing.
I just think it's clearly ticky-tack, and I just can't believe I'm the only one in here that's like, I don't want that called there.
No, Chris, I'm with you, and I'm with Pstrick Mahomes when he says it doesn't really impact the result of the play. There's no real discernible advantage there. A couple of inches here or there, I'm with you, but the rule is the rule. I think they got way more screwed last week, and the emotion pouring out of him is not only how difficult it is for his offense to be in those games because he lived a very charmed life where everything came super easy for him, but it's just an amalgamation of all the things that have happened to the Kansas City Chiefs this season. And you turn your attention from Kadarius Toney squarely to Taylor Swoft. I'm telling you, this is becoming a thing.
The refereeing this year has been really inconsistent. It's been something that a lot of NFL fans and reporters are talking about. It just feels like it's been very inconsistent, and there's been egregious calls like this. I think was probably ultimately the right call, but it did impact the result of the game, despite the fact that him being offside didn't impact the play at all, as Pstrick Mahomes was saying. But like there was a call in the Thursday night game, which we didn't talk about last week, where the Steelers got the Patriots player to jump offsides on a punt, and they would have been able to get a first down and continue their drive and potentially tie or win the game. And instead, the ref called a false start on the punting team, and everyone on the field and everyone in the stadium and everyone watching on TV was like, that wasn't the right call. They called the long snapper for like snapping his head up.
Finally, we're getting the Steelers Pats.
Thank you. Yes. I've been waiting for 4 days to talk about this game.
Steelers are in the playoffs. If the season ended today, I can't understand how.
Give it a couple weeks.
Everyone else is broken, Stugotz.
My point is, you can make jokes you could argue about the refereeing and these types of calls as much as you want. It doesn't, like, every single game has something like this in it. It's exhausting to bring it up every single time it happens because it just keeps happening. The the officiating is not getting better. It's just, this is what we have to get used to as NFL fans, I think.
Week 1, Lions at Chiefs. Kadarius Toney had 5 targets, 1 reception, 1 yard. He also had 1 rushing play for -1 yard, so he had a grand total of 0 yards.
No, and the pick 6 that went through his hands.
Well, that doesn't show up in the box.
No, thank you.
Exactly.
Yes. Jessica, I'd like to get to the point that she's making, Stugotz, because I believe that what she's saying is right in spirit and in theory. The refereeing is wildly inconsistent, and all of us are getting mad about something every single week. Both very true. This is what I want to ask you guys, because everything out there seems like it's moving super fast. And like I said earlier, I'm surprised that they spot the ball as well as they do. Like, I would get that wrong all the time if I wasn't watching on television. I would just think it would be very hard to do. But the thing that I want to ask all of you, because I thought of this yesterday, I don't even know who it was, Stugotz. Somebody at the goal line, they kept stopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Is his shin down before the ball crosses the goal line? Is the shin down or is it not down? Is an ass cheek down or is it not down? We watch it 100 times. All of us have money on these games. All of us have microscopes on these old guys. All of us are waiting for the Mahomes screw up. We're all breathing on their neck. It's all moving very fast. The question I want to ask you guys, what the hell are we doing? What the hell are we doing? Like, you're going to really do it like that? Is his shin down? Is it an inch? Is it 2 inches? Is it 3? You got it wrong, you old Like, you got it wrong. Like, is this really what we're doing? 700 replays. Was it an inch? Was it 3 inches? Hey, why didn't the referee know that was going to be one of the most amazing plays of all time before he threw that flag?
But, Dan, it's a game of inches. I mean,
the Chiefs had a spoiled existence in which they were that much better than everybody else in the league that they never had to worry about the refs being a huge part of the end result. And now they've come back to the rest of the league. And I, for one, am super excited to see what Patrick Mahomes has to do to get to another Super Bowl because he's never played a road playoff game before.
Right. Can he do it? Because all the greats have done it. I mean,
I like this theory. Like mediocre teams, we've had to deal with a call like this deciding the trajectory of our season. We've all dealt with this before, where you could just blame one little false start or but in reality, your team just didn't play very well. And how many downs did he have after that to try to get a first down or score a touchdown? And they weren't able to convert.
I wouldn't say the team didn't play very well. I would say the Bills are really good and were playing for their season.
And Pacheco is out, and we know what they look like with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and how much Pacheco has upgraded that coming off of one of his best career games. That's a huge part of it too. But to me, the main story is I don't really understand what what Joe Brady was doing at the end of the game and throwing and not running clock. Have you not seen the Chiefs this year? Have you not seen how difficult it is for them to score this year? It's not the same where 12 seconds is too much time to lead Patrick Mahomes.
When the Bills got that call and they had and the Chiefs only had 2 timeouts left.
This is a middle of the pack offense right now. It's got bad receivers. I understand. I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster is the only thing. So I think everybody's getting a little bit older on that team. When you don't have Pacheco, that takes away a dynamic that team sorely needs. I just don't think they're all that good anymore right now.
You guys want to play a game called What Does Sean McDermott Have to Do to Lose His Job? Because it seems like he's playing the game by himself and like he survived 9/11. So like what does he have to do to lose his job?
Well, that game would have gone a long way because the rest of their schedule is hard and they can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody and they're fascinating. Like, I'd be scared of them if I were the Dolphins. I'd be scared of them if I were anybody because they can beat anybody.
Their schedule is such and this is dating back a couple of weeks now, considering where they are in the standings, every game for the Bills is going to feel like that yesterday, which was a huge part in an otherwise ugly Sunday in which we all find out who Easton Stick is.
I have an unpopular opinion on the Dolphins since you mentioned the Dolphins and the Bills, Dan. I love the Dolphins' schedule to end the season. I love that they have to host the Cowboys. I love that they have to go to Baltimore. I love that they have to host the Bills the last game of the season because the whole narrative around this team the whole season has been they can't beat good teams. So you're headed into the playoffs with 3 playoff games going into the playoffs. And here's the good thing about it. If you lose them, it doesn't really matter that much because it doesn't count. So lose them before the playoff
games.
Exactly.
Why are you saying it like that?
Playoff prep.
Right.
Dress rehearsal.
I am scared of the Dolphins in December. I don't trust them. That schedule
they've already won in December this year, Dan. That's last year's
undefeated.
Narrative. You sound silly. By the way, if you want to watch the Dolphins, come watch the Dolphins with us tonight.
Where are we going to be doing that?
Somewhere.
Vivo Miami at the Miller Lite stage.
Good work on
Dolphin
the producing
Mall.
of that, Billy. Somewhere. Good promotion.
But he got us there.
Yeah, he got us there.
By Dollar Shave Club and Miller Lite. There's going to be $1 off Miller Lite specials. It's open to the public, all ages over there. Please come watch the second most important Monday night game of the week.
Stugotz, this is pretty damn great. The idea that we are doing these microscopic examinations of the judgments of a game that's being measured by chain links. Mm-hmm. The fact that we're doing it after a Sunday in which none of the games were any good, except for the 3. There were 3 good games yesterday. Everything else stunk, and I'm telling you, the quarterback play, horrific. Joe Flacco is presently a top 10 quarterback in this league.
He's great.
He is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in this league because everyone else stinks.
What did he do on Sunday? I wasn't really paying attention. Did
he crushed everybody.
Yeah,
did he look
great.
good? Mm-hmm. Jags looking funny in the light a little bit. Anytime they play a good defense, they lose.
It's weird.
Well, that's a great defense. But the point that I wanted to make about the games, Stugotz, and the referees is we got one of these controversies, and none of the games were close. Like, to me, this should be happening more. To me, this should be happening all over the place because you've got so many of the games are close that any one call can decide any of these games. Like that all the games you're watching are in the witching hour. Like yesterday was shit because we're used to it. 3:45. There are 5 teams that are 5-7 playing each other, and they're playing for the last 15 seconds of your Sunday.
But did you see Vikings Raiders?
It was a doozy.
That was a 3-point game, man.
One call changes that game. Minnesota on its 4th quarterback.
Yeah, the call was to play the game.
For all their contributions to society, the modern blue-collar worker remains undervalued. From the stereotypes they receive to the clunky work boots or stiff apparel designed by people who have never worked a trade job a day in their lives. That's why Brunt Workwear was created by workers for workers. Brunt is a brand transforming workwear. Brunt understands that when you're on the job, you need gear that can keep up with you. Blue-collar workers often require sturdy and durable work boots to protect their feet and provide comfort during long hours of labor-intensive work. That's why Brunt designed their boots and apparel with and for real workers to be durable, comfortable, and ready for anything. Workers like them are the backbone of this country, and they deserve better. Brunt makes the most comfortable and durable boots you'll ever try. You deserve high-quality gear at the best possible price. Try Brunt risk-free with a 30-day on-the-job trial and free shipping and returns. Use code GBF for $10 off your first order at bruntworkwear.com/GBF. That's BRUNT workwear.com/GBF. Peloton is your stage to work out like nobody's watching. A Peloton in your house means you make the rules. You exercise when you want, how you want, sing as loud as you want, wear what you want, or nothing at all. When you spend your hard-earned money, you don't just buy a Peloton, you open the door for you to do you. And nothing beats the feeling of exercising on your own terms, with or without clothes on. With up to $700 off your Peloton Bike Plus purchase, there's no better time to bring one home for the holidays and work out like nobody's watching. Peloton is your stage to unleash the real you, the clothing optional you. You want to try a climb or a low-impact ride class? You can. Or hop off Ike and pivot the screen to do a bar, strength, or yoga class? You can. Make yourself uncomfortable in the comfort of your own space and your own skin, free of judgment, free of inhibitions. It's a fitness entertainment mashup that'll have you singing at the top of your lungs, sweating, and moving like you'd never do with others around you. Peloton's best offer of the season. Head to onepeloton.com/deals. All access membership separate. Terms apply.
Don Le Batard.
If all the raindrops were lemon drops and gumdrops, oh, what a rain that would be.
Stugotz.
Standing outside with my mouth open wide. If all the raindrops were lemon drops and gumdrops, oh, what a rain that would be.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
The thing we're not talking about enough from this Chiefs-Bills game last night is what an insanely reckless decision Travis Kelce made late in that game. Can we go down a hypothetical? There's no penalty called. He throws it terribly.
Throws an interception.
And, we're all questioning how much he's paying attention. The Taylor Swoft thing is affecting him. We are doing the Travis Kelce has lost his mind show today. If that just goes a little differently.
He's done it before, though. He has done. He is very good at whatever the hell that was. Yes, yes, it is.
It was a dime, and he does have quarterback chops.
But if you look at the replay, there's a Bills defender.
Oh yeah, almost
right there,
within an inch of deflecting that. Then we have a fumble, and it is chaos.
I have a prediction that we can revisit in 12 years. I think laterals.
Yes.
I think laterals are just dying to be exploited in this league. The hook and ladder, and everyone is so afraid of turnovers because if you turn the ball over in today's NFL, that has a point value. And as we just discussed, all these games are so close. But I do think maybe a dozen years from now, there's going to be someone labeled a genius because he's doing what seems to me to be a fairly obvious thing. If you watch rugby, there are all these big plays being left on the field if someone just tosses the ball to someone else and you design a lateral play.
It was honestly the best part of the college football video game was you get a running quarterback and you just call the option, and then right before you're about to hit, you just pitch it, and then you get like a 90-yard
Let
run.
it go.
Oh, and
The best part about the college
Billy, when they're
game.
on to you, you fake pitch it.
And then you
They had no answer for that.
They pitch and keep?
Or you run right up to the line and then a little 3-yarder. Oh, God. Madden was so far behind college football video games.
Mike Ryan I was jealous that you got to there before I did because I think it's going to happen faster than 12 years from now. If I can watch a Dallas Cowboys game where that guy is going for it on fourth down all the time, and Dan Campbell is going for it on fourth down all the time, when all we're doing 5 years ago is talking about you got to punt there.
Yeah.
5 years ago, I do believe that we are headed with not 12 years,
laterals.
12 years. Whoever is the next. I mean, McVay is now old. McVay is yesterday. Belichick is yesterday. Whoever's the next McDaniel is going to be watch when Deebo Samuel can pitch the ball to another Deebo Samuel.
That's going to be incredible. I actually, a couple of weeks ago, I saw a video of a rugby team playing pickup football, American football, against just these presumably American dudes. And they were doing that shit all over the field and kicking their asses. And it looked beautiful. I know it comes with its risk because the ball, as you know, is not super round. Well, and it can take funny bounces.
And the coaches are conservative, and turnovers have this value now where everyone's terrified to give the ball over. So it's really going to be constipated the same way it was about punting on fourth down. They're all scared of getting the decision criticized.
But I do think it'll look different if you actually design these fail safes for these receivers that are doing the lateral, and you have downfield blockers. In the NFL, it won't get too out of hand because they have the ineligible men downfield rule. It's why anytime a running back is getting, trying to turn the corner and being pinned down for a 3-yard loss, they're not just throwing the ball for an incomplete and not taking the loss, because they are really good at enforcing ineligible receivers downfield.
Why should McDaniel wait? Because he has the guys. Why not get it to Tyreek Hill, get the entire defense going one way, Waddle comes around, flip it to him, and let him go?
They've played with that notion. I think they've already done one hook and ladder play this season. It's just dying to be exploited, but I understand the risk.
Do you understand the conflict of philosophy, though? You've got the entire league going in the other direction. Quarterbacks are the most valuable. They're all getting hurt. Valuable quarterbacks don't turn the ball over. Mahomes is turning the ball over a ton. His value's going down, and he's like the second highest paid player in sports after Ohtani and Messi, third highest.
Yeah, I think this is where you get results. I think this is
John Rahm.
I think laterals are the NFL version of the corner three, where everyone realized there's all this value there. It's the shortest three-pointer on the court, and now you essentially have to run your entire offensive scheme around it. It's just sitting right there for everybody, and I hope to see more because it's a super exciting play.
Chris Cody is so right, though. We would have, if Kelce had done that, not even noticed the Toney penalty. No one would have ever noticed, there was a flag on the field, declined.
Oh, can you imagine the Taylor Swift narrative if Travis Kelce doesn't throw a laser in between forearms? Mm-hmm. It's all Travis Kelce's fault.
What's he doing? He's not even. That's not smart. That's just reckless.
He was showing off. He thinks he's a big star.
It still might be his fault.
Didn't Stugotz do that show 2 weeks ago already?
3 weeks ago. I was just warning a friend about, hey, this is going to come.
He didn't do it. He said that it would
I'm just trying to help him out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you it's coming. For him and Mahomes, it's coming. It's coming today,
I do kind of understand where Mahomes was coming from, and that's a legacy play. He's remembered for all times for that play.
So the ref should allow it?
Because of a foot being 1 inch past the ball.
It's a bummer, and it would have been a great ending to the game, but also, you know how Mahomes was saying you check with the official to make sure you're offside and there's some kind of dialogue there? Look at Kadarius Toney.
Never check.
My guy is locked in. A half foot off the ball.
Chris Cody, and we'll move off this subject in a second, but the absurdity of how much we're playing the result here when the ref who called that, and none of us have ever objected to that being called at any other time in any other game, the ref who called that did not know that play was coming. We are all playing the result on what a bad call that is.
He should feel great about that, right?
How amazing.
Hey, I threw the flag before I knew the greatest play in NFL
It's the only time
history.
you'll hear commentators take shots at people's intelligence is when there's a pre-snap penalty on a wide receiver. It's pretty easy. Line up behind the ball.
This is what I am telling you, though, Stugotz. I am promising you, okay? If that referee had known, Chris Cody, I know you're pissed off about this, but this is what I'm promising you, and I promise you it from my soul. I know I'm right about this. If that referee had been so good that he did know that play was coming, he would have picked up the flag and just put it back in his pocket. And if he had had that premonition, he would have said, you know what, I'm not going to I've erred. I've made a mistake here. I don't need to call this right here.
What if he intends to throw the flag, it gets stuck, he can't get it out, the play develops, he's still trying to get it out, and then he just says, you know what, forget it.
Yeah, he treats it like an NBA official that waits to see if it's going to be an and one.
Yes.
You got that.
Yes.
You got that bucket. No foul there. Oh, it lipped out. All right, we'll send you to the line.
Let me stick this flag back.
We would, yes. He'd pretend to be pulling up his pants. He would pantomime something. Yes. I want to get to Steve Kerr and what happened with Steve Kerr and in-stadium noise, in-stadium arena, DJs having fun with music. Steve Kerr is complaining here, and you will hear it for yourself. He's complaining about he's become Stan Van Gundy. No T-shirt cannons. I just want to play basketball. We don't need all this noise, all this racket, all these DJs playing music all the time. Let's hear that.
You feel it. It's the communication. It's playing with force. It's playing downhill. It's playing with great communication. You can hear everybody, talking defensively. Although in this building you can't hear anything because it's like a club. It's like a South Beach club out there. What are we doing? I'm being dead serious. Like I couldn't hear anything out there. It's just the whole game. It's just this thumping techno club music. Can we just have a basketball game anymore? What the hell?
My guy.
He sounds like my dad on bowling night.
It is. It's Stan Van Gundy. I can't believe I'm old enough to hear Steve Kerr sound like he's Hubie Brown.
I mean, these stadiums do need this pomp and circumstance around it. Otherwise, it can be pretty sad.
I went to the Knicks did a game I want to say 5 or 6 years ago against the Warriors where they cut off all of the in-arena noise, like all the music, the PA, like everything, and it was just silent for the first half. It was so weird. I was just sitting there and I could hear myself chewing popcorn. It's like, where am I? And it was also a 1:00 game. I was like, what? I'm taking a nap right now.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is it a bad in-stadium sound experience if you can hear yourself chewing popcorn?
It's super boring to watch sports without music, and I didn't realize it until the All-Star game was down here a couple years ago, and I was at the celebrity softball game watching it, and they just had music playing throughout, and it was a soundtrack. I'm like, man, baseball's fun if music's playing underneath the entire time. So I imagine every sport is like that. With no music in basketball, you probably get super bored just watching it back and forth. All you hear is the sneakers going.
That was literally the only sound. It was just sneakers back and forth the whole time and myself chewing.
Well, the Suns and their DJ, their in-arena DJ, took the opportunity to listen to Steve Kerr's words and then sample them.
You know what? In this building, you can't hear anything because it's like a club. It's like a South Beach club. It's just this thumping techno club music. Thumping techno club music. Thumping techno club music. Thumping techno club music.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Do you like the sounds of sneakers squeaking in a basketball gym? Because some people do like that sound.
I love that sound. Yeah.
But I do believe that we need the T-shirt cannon. It's not enough stimuli for young people, especially, not people Steve Kerr's age, but young people. You need more than just the basketball, and people Steve Kerr's age are going to prefer to just have the basketball.
This Knicks game I went to, no T-shirt cannon either. No celebrity row, nothing. It was completely silent.
They expect young people to have a conversation. They expect people to talk to each other.
I was on my phone, please. I don't know why. My guess is James Dolan got in a fight with the PA people and didn't pay them a check, so they didn't have it. I don't know. They didn't work that day. I don't really know why they did it.
The Rwvens, Stugotz, beat the Rams yesterday.
They figured out a way to win, Dan.
They did figure out a way to win, but that's the rare game, Stugotzo, where they figured out a way to win, but gave you another reason to doubt them in the playoffs anyway.
It is rare.
Because the Rams can do that. The Rams can all of a sudden make your defense look pretty bad. They won on a punt return.
Their receivers are really good. Nakua made an insane grab with no gloves in that game, and Cooper Kupp, who's battled through injury this year, is as unguardable as ever when he's healthy.
And they're 6-7. And they're one of the teams that got the good quarterback play yesterday.
Yep.
Because there weren't many of them, Stugotz. Oh, my God, Nick Mullins. You saved the Vikings because you could throw for 80 yards, but I'm watching Bryce Young, and he's going 13 for 39. and I'm watching who was the quarterback that had 100 yards in the less than 100 yards in the third quarter. There was another quarterback yesterday where I'm watching, I'm like, they can't get any yardage. These defenses are so good, and the quarterback play has gotten so good from the very best of the quarterbacks that when it's shitty, you really notice it.
Derek Carr had 119 yards for the game.
CJ Stroud finished with like 90-something. He got a concussion halfway through the fourth, but in the fourth quarter, he didn't have 100 yards either.
What's crazy is Brock Purdy is putting up insane numbers. He's like number one in every stat that you would judge, and he had a quiet, just shy of 400-yard passing game yesterday, and he's probably the fifth most impressive player on that offense when you watch them.
Oh, I'll tell you the other one I was thinking of. Baker Mayfield was shitty right up until he wasn't.
Yep.
Goods. Hey, it's Mike, and I want to motivate you to make Miller Lite a part of your football watching experience. Here's the pitch. It's got only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. With a smooth taste and a crisp, clean finish, you get the taste that you crave without the calories. And, football fans, I can assure you, from personal experience, there is no other light beer, not on this wonderful planet of ours, that goes with football quite like Miller Lite. Make football time Miller time. No matter what team you're rooting for, there is one thing we can all agree on. Miller Lite and football bring us all together. So, I want you to take my advice and make it Miller time all season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.